Okay. Om Vishwam Darpan Drishyamana Nagari Tulyannijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahiribodbhutan Yatha Nidraya Yasakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Svatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrumbhayatyapi Mahayogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadasha Adhyayinim Ambatvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavad Gīte Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthitatangatena Manasa Pashyanti yam yoginaha yasyandam na vidussura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha devaya tasmai namaha. So we are in the 6th chapter. The last 2 verses have to be completed. This particular chapter is called Dhyana Yoga. Dhya is a root to meditate, to focus. So Dhyanam means a meditation. A meditation is twofold. One is a meditation, Dhyanam, we call Upasanam, which is before one pursue the knowledge. One studies in order to make the instrument of the knowledge fit for gaining the knowledge in terms of receiving the knowledge and retaining knowledge. One has to prepare one's mind. Upasanam, basically which is we call Saguna Brahma Dhyanam, Ishvara Upasanam, definitely gives a person a focus, gives a depth in order to retain the knowledge. When there is a depth, you can retain. If it is a shallow, you cannot retain. You may receive, you can understand, but you cannot retain. In order to retain, one requires to have a certain depth of the mind. So Upasanam gives that, which we call a mental activity, mere mental activity relating to Ishvara is Dhyanam, Upasana. That's a first. And the second type of Dhyanam is we call Nididhyasanam. One may be able to receive the knowledge, perhaps retain the knowledge also. But still, one has to get rid of a certain habitual error, viparita bhavana. That is called assimilation of knowledge. You know I am Brahman, with a clarity. But just by sheer habit, one takes oneself to be body, mind, sense complex very easily. In a class, we may understand, yes, I am Brahman. As I get up and go, I start again taking myself as a body, mind, sense complex. So there is a habit. We call habitual error because it is an error ultimately. So in order to get rid of this habitual error, thereby we can say to assimilate the knowledge, to imbibe the knowledge, you require to have another type of meditation centered on self. Again and again you revel on the teaching. And the teaching is this: the self is free, distinct from body, mind, sense complex, self is eternal, self is unborn, etc., etc. All that you dwell upon that, and thereby you slowly release yourself from the habitual error. And thereby you assimilate knowledge, you own up the knowledge. You own up the reality about yourself. So that requires a meditation, we call Nididhyasanam, in order to assimilate knowledge. So these are two types of meditation. And both are required, Swamiji? Perhaps not. If one has done enough upasana, etc., one has already capacity to retain knowledge and thereby assimilate the knowledge, then definitely Nididhyasanam is not much required. The person, through listening the Shastra for a length of time, one is able to imbibe the knowledge because there is a certain purity, focusing capacity, everything is there. Ishvara Upasana, due to grace of Ishvara, he has a purity of the mind also. He has a focusing ability, he has a certain depth, so he definitely doesn't require. As he listens, he imbibes. But suppose person has not done enough upasana, like all of us. We generally are busy with our, whenever we have come, I'm in touch with this teaching, etc., through the teacher, I'm sure most of us has not enough done upasana. Then definitely after listening to the Shastra for a length of time, yet you require to have a Nididhyasanam in order to imbibe the knowledge, assimilate the knowledge. So if Upasanam is not done in enough proportion, then you require definitely Nididhyasanam. So one of them will be predominant in this life, spiritual life of gaining moksha. Either one is in predominant. Anyway, okay, that is okay, but what is the topic here? 6th chapter is Dhyana Yoga. Now you are saying it is twofold. So whether Bhagavan talks about in 6th chapter as a upasana or he talks a Nididhyasana. Which type of dhyanam here? Well, it is definitely Nididhyasana. It is a contemplation because Bhagavan has already imparted knowledge in 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 5th chapter. So definitely he is telling Arjuna to imbibe the knowledge. For that he has to talk about Nididhyasanam. And therefore, chapter 6, which we call Dhyana Yoga, which is basically predominantly here Nididhyasanam only is talked about. Okay, and now this entire chapter is divided into 6 portions. Of course, Dhyanam, Nididhyasanam, but these 6 topics are dealt here in this 6th chapter. First is a general disciplines. General discipline is a part of your life in order to make this Nididhyasanam successful. A certain general discipline should be there for a meditator in order to imbibe this knowledge, in order to make the contemplation successful. A certain general disciplines have been described by Bhagavan in this chapter. It is one of the topic. Then, and if you are asking me specifically what are the verses, first 9 verses, Bhagavan talks about these general disciplines. And then 16th and 17th verse also describe that general disciplines. Then the second is a specific discipline for the meditator. Just before he sits for meditation, he should observe certain preparatory steps. That is a specific discipline. That also Bhagavan has talked about in this chapter. Third is after talking about disciplines, general and specific, Bhagavan talks about meditation as such, actual process of meditation. That's a third step. Fourth is, Bhagavan should talk about benefits of meditation. So the fourth topic is a benefits of meditation. If you do this Nididhyasanam, you will imbibe knowledge. There will be a Jnana Phalam. There will be a result of this knowledge. At least you will not take yourself to be a limited entity, a miserable entity, a person who is, So, at least there will be a cheer in your mind, at least at the level of mind. Anyway, so the fourth is the benefits of meditation. Bhagavan has talked about Nididhyasanam. Then Bhagavan also talks about, as a fifth topic, obstacles to the meditation. What are the obstacles which one has to take care of? So the fifth topic is an obstacle to the meditation. The sixth topic is a aside topic, which has arisen due to a question of an Arjuna. And that is a question it's a question for all of us, frankly speaking. It's an incidental topic, and that topic is a yoga brashta. So, basically this topic which came due to Arjuna's question, I will tell you Arjuna's question, so you will understand what is this yoga brashta person. Well, it is when Arjuna asked this question with a lot of concern, that suppose if we fail in our spiritual journey, a person's prarabdha is over, person dies before he gains clarity in this knowledge, before he gains moksha. Suppose person dies. He is pursuing very sincerely, but could not make it, could not own up this fact about oneself. Then what will be his lot? That was the question. Naturally, we also feel that I am pursuing a lot, but suppose Swamiji, if I could not make it in this life, what will be the lot? And Bhagavan talks very beautifully. And Bhagavan says, don't worry at all. Bhagavan gives a very beautiful answer, elaborate answer also. He says, whoever comes on this path of the knowledge, spiritual path, gains twofold results. First result is, if he gains knowledge, he gains moksha. Knowledge is moksha, because you are already free and you have a clarity that you are free. That's it. So if you become clear in this life, pursuing this knowledge through Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, etc., you gain moksha. That's the first result. Second is, if you does not gain this knowledge, then just sheer listening of the Shastra, etc., will give you punyam. You will be able to get punyam, and you will gain swarga. Definitely, Bhagavan says that. And not only that, he will definitely get a conducive birth once he returns from swarga. Well, everyone has to return, right? Ultimately, Bhagavan said that it's up and down. up down only. So anyway, he gets a conducive birth basically to continue his spiritual journey. And because he has already done homework in the past life, well, because of this Purva Janma Vasana, his spiritual journey in this new birth will start early and it will be faster and he will effortlessly gain Jnanam and Moksha. So that's a really, a promise of Ishvara in the 6th chapter while answering the question of an Arjuna, what will be his lot, etc. So Arjuna, don't lose heart. Well, don't lose heart. When will I get moksha? When will I get clarity, etc.? Don't lose your heart. Enjoy your journey. In fact, every class you are building the vasanas for yourself, Advaita Vasana, etc. Gaining clarity, you are one step ahead. So therefore, don't lose your heart. So these are the topics, in 6 topics in the 6th chapter. And now only 2 verses, the last 2 verses, 46 and 47, are left over. We have to see those 2 verses. Let's read verse number 46. Tapasvibhyodhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodhikah karmibhyaschadhiko yogi tasmadyogi bhavarjuna. So these 2 verses, 46 and 47, Bhagavan is winding up this topic of Nididhyasanam here in this of the 6th chapter. So he concludes by glorifying actually this Nididhyasanam as a culminating means for the moksha. So by glorifying this Nididhyasana yoga, Dhyana yoga means here Nididhyasana yoga, as the culminating means which precedes moksha. And in order to glorify this Nididhyasana yoga, Dhyana yoga, well, Bhagavan is glorifying Nididhyasana yogi, the meditator. By glorifying the meditator who is contemplating, Bhagavan glorifies the meditation Nididhyasanam. That is what he does. Like even Sthita Prajna section, right? Bhagavan has imparted Atma Jnanam. Arjuna asked about, who is this person, wise person? I would like to know the characteristic of a wise person. And then Bhagavan described in the 2nd chapter, from verse almost 56 or 55 onwards. And there Bhagavan praises also that Jnani. So the praise of this Sthita Prajna, a wise person, is a praise of a Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. So same way here, Bhagavan praises Nididhyasana yogi. But Bhagavan definitely is praising this Nididhyasana yoga, Dhyana yoga by that. So this is the topic here in these last 2 verses. Glorification of this Nididhyasana. And here Bhagavan says, since Nididhyasana yogi is the greatest yogi, because he is at the final level, we can say. He has crossed all 4 levels. First is a Karma Yoga. He is a yogi, definitely. Karma Yoga. Doing Karma Yoga, he is a yogi. So, that's the first level of a yoga. Then he has crossed Upasana. Let us accept for a time being that he has done Upasana, also Upasana Yoga. So, he has crossed that level. Then he has crossed Shravanam. That's a part of Jnana Yoga. So this yogi has crossed even 3rd level called Shravana Yoga. And 4th is a Mananam. That's also part of Jnana Yoga. So he has crossed all 4 levels. And now he has culminated himself into this Nididhyasana Yoga. And he is definitely above 4 levels, naturally. And therefore, Bhagavan says this Nididhyasana yogi is greatest. Bhagavan uses the word adhikaha, superior, etc. So this is gist of the verse. And Shankaracharya ji says, we are seeing a little bit Bhashyam also. So here Bhashyakara says, Yasmat evam tasmat. So, Yasmat. Yasmat indicates a reason. So Bhagavan is going to give the reasons in the 46th verse because of which he says Nididhyasana yogi is greater, superior. These are the reasons, Bhagavan says. These are the reasons because of which this Nididhyasana yogi is superior. And therefore, you also do this Nididhyasanam. Bhagavan has already talked about the process of Nididhyasanam, general disciplines, specific disciplines. Therefore, Arjuna, you also become Nididhyasana yogi. You become yogi. That's how Tasmad yogi bhava. Tasmad yogi bhava. Hey Arjuna. So this is, Bhashyakara says, Yasmad evam, because of the following reasons, which are given in the verse number 46, Nididhyasana yoga is greater, and therefore, O Arjuna, may you also, Tasmad means therefore, may you also become a Nididhyasana yogi. Now let's see in the Bhashyam. Bhashyakara says, Tapasvibhyaha adhikaha yogi, Jnanibhyaha api, Jnanam atra shastra pandityam tadvadbhyaha api mataha jnataha adhikaha shreshtaha iti karmibhyaha agnihotradi karma tadvadbhyaha adhikaha yogi vishishtaha yasmat tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. I read the entire Bhashyam, now I will explain you. Tapasvibhyaha adhikaha yogi. This yogi, this dhyana yogi, Nididhyasana yogi, who is doing contemplation, is adhikaha, superior to tapasvis. So tapasvibhyaha adhikaha is superior to tapasvi. Tapasvi means what? Who is doing a upasana, who is meditating upon Ishvara with attributes, certain form, at an altar, maybe even a personal God, or maybe in the form of a glories in the universe, which is going to be the topic from next chapter. So, he is seeing Ishvara everywhere. That is also possible. Or he is seeing Ishvara in one form. There are two ways of meditating on Ishvara with attributes. Either a form, a single form, we call personal God, or Ishvara in all forms, in form of a glory. Right? Every form has a certain glory. So wherever he sees a glory, somewhere he sees a good memory, somewhere he sees a beauty. So he is seeing this glory in various forms and he is meditating those glories as a Ishvara. Because Ishvara being a Upadana Karan. Being Ishvara is the maker and material of everything, therefore all the forms are his forms. And therefore whatever his glory is there in any form is a glory of Ishvara. This is this kind of him. He is called Tapasvi here, who is doing Upasana. So, but of course, definitely, one who meditates is different from what is meditated upon. And therefore, so this kind of a Upasana is really good. But the meditator takes himself to be different from Ishvara, naturally. And therefore, he is looking upon himself as a limited being, different from Ishvara. And therefore, compared to such Upasana, etc., where one takes oneself to be different from Ishvara, compared to that, this Nididhyasanam, where this meditator looks upon oneself as Ishvara, Brahman, etc., is much better. Naturally, he is getting rid of all the limitations which are superimposed, which is not a reality, in fact. Anyway, so this is tapasvibhyaha adhikaha yogi, this Nididhyasana yogi, who is doing this abheda dhyanam, right? Identity. He is trying to see the identity between the self and Brahman, while he is greater. So first is tapasvibhyaha adhikaha yogi. Then jnanibhyaha api. These Nididhyasana yogis are superior than jnanis. Jnanibhyaha api. He is superior also. Api. Jnanibhyaha. So here jnanibhyaha, Bhashyakara says, jnanam atra shastra pandityam. Shastra pandityam. So, scholarship with regards to the subject matter of the Vedanta. That scholarship one can gain through Shravana and Mananam. If you listen to the Shastra carefully for a length of time with a commitment, and also you get rid of all the doubts pertaining to the subject matter, you have a scholarship. Right? You have a certain clarity. So people will have a clarity about Vedantic subject matter. Oh, I am Brahman, etc. Person can give a talk also, beautiful talk. Person can resolve other doubts also. He himself has resolved doubt for himself. Everything is possible. Such a person is called Jnani. Shastra Pandityam. Jnanam, Jnanibhya. The word Jnanam in that, Bhashyakara says, Atra in this case, is Shastra Pandityam. So, still, even if you have this scholarship, but still you take yourself to be just an individual with a scholarship, with a Jnanam. And therefore, that is not correct. So therefore, our Nididhyasana yogi, who is seeing himself as Brahman, definitely he is better than this people with a scholarship. People with a scholarship, definitely still they themselves take to be an individual being, etc., limited being, etc. That is, means the knowledge has not fructified. Knowledge has supposed to, the fructification is you don't take yourself to a limited entity. A person with a certain lack, centered on oneself, there is a constant uneasiness. Still that fellow, the samsari, continues. Then knowledge has not fructified. And therefore, definitely compared to such people, our Nididhyasana yogis better. So adhikaha, what is not supplied, we have to supply. Jnanibhya api adhikaha. We have to supply there. Anyway, so Jnanibhya api, and then Bhashyakara says Atra Shastra Pandityam, and then Tadvadbhya api. So Tadvadbhya api adhikaha. Api mataha, jnataha, mataha. Mataha means is considered, compared to such people who have this knowledge, who have clarity even with regard to subject matter. Still mataha. Mataha means is considered, jnataha, adhikaha, superior, shreshtaha, iti. Okay. Then karmibhya, again, karmibhya adhikaha. Karmibhya, what is karma? Agnihotradi karma. So, karmibhya api agnihotradi. So, basically the people who are doing a lot of karmas, agnihotra karmas, etc., and waiting for the karma phala in order to experience, when enjoy karma phala, takes himself to be karta, a limited entity, etc. Subject to punyam and papam, etc. So, compared to such karmis, who are doing this agnihotradi karmas, tadvadbhya api, compared to even this, those people who are performing all this, our Nididhyasana yogis, adhikaha. Adhikaha is to be supplied, or agnihotradi karma, tadvadbhya adhikaha yogi. Vishishtaha, yog. Adhikaha means vishishtaha, same thing. Superior, greater. Tasmat. Yasmat tasmat yogi. Yasmat. Because of these reasons which I have given, means this Nididhyasana yogi is superior, compared to this jnanis, compared to this people who are doing upasanas, who are doing this meditation on Ishvara with attributes, or with these people who have just gained jnanam, and it's in terms of scholarship. It has not assimilated in their personality, it has not benefited them. Or the people who are doing a lot of karmas, who are performing a lot of karmas, compared to all of them, our Nididhyasana yogi is superior. Yasmat. These are the reasons. Yasmat karanat. Because of these reasons, this Nididhyasana yogi is superior. And tasmat, therefore, O Arjuna, yogi bhava, may you do this meditation, contemplation, etc. Now let's go to verse number 47. Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo matah. So this shloka is basically a seed for the following 6 chapters, 7 to 12 in fact, where Krishna is going to say that you should meditate on Ishvara rather than devatas. Various devatas are there. Devatas themselves are exalted jivas. They themselves are limited entities. And being exalted, if you worship them, if you meditate on them, they will give you result. But that result also will be limited. So better meditating upon the various devatas, graha devatas also. Right? People worship Shani Devata and people worship all kinds of devatas. He is going to mention, Bhashyakara is going to mention Rudra, etc. So compared to worshipping, meditating various devatas, which are a part of creation, they are also manifestation of Ishvara, etc. But just worshipping them, just worshipping just one aspect of Ishvara, rather than worshipping Ishvara. Purna Devata. Purna, not Devata. But Ishvara is Purna. So that is better. That's what he says here. That's the gist of the verse. Let's see the bhashyam here. Yoginamapi sarvesham rudradityadi dhyanaparanam madhye madgatena mai vasudeve samahitena antaratmana antakaranena shraddhavan shraddadhana san bhajate sevate yaha mam saha me mama yuktatamaha atishayena yuktaha mataha abhipretaha iti. So here it says yoginam api sarvesham, among all types of meditators. Yogi here, of course, meditator, we have seen that. Among all types of meditators, among all types of dhyana yogis, and now here, not referring to just nididhyasanam. All types means either doing upasanas and this nididhyasanam. That kind of a difference is not there. Among all types of meditators, either they are upasakas or either they are doing a contemplation. Well, so in here we are taking dhyanam in general sense now, general meditation. So among all the meditators, Rudra Aditya Adi Dhyana Paranam Madhye. Nirdharane Shashti. Well, who meditates upon various devatas like Rudra, Aditya, Adi, etc. Dhyana Paranam, well, who are committed to meditating on these devatas. So here Rudra basically is a Purna Devata. Rudra, well, Swamiji, it is Shiva, and that is, Shiva means it is Purna Ishvara, etc. But no. Here Rudra means, we have Ekadasha Rudra. Out of that, one of the Rudra he is meditating upon. So therefore it's just a Devata. Therefore, so who meditates upon various Devatas, like Rudra, etc. And Aditya. Aditya, of course, is a Devata, Surya Devata. So, well, all are Apurna Devatas, limited. And so, among several meditators, Madhye, among several meditators, you meditate upon various Devatas like Rudra, Aditya, etc. So, instead of, among all of them, Madgatena, one who meditates upon me, because we are now taking all. So, either doing Upasana and meditating upon Devata, or meditating upon me, the Ishvara. Among all of them, well, who is superior? Well, one who is meditating upon Ishvara is superior. That's what he is going to say. So, Madgatena. Yoginam api sarvesham rudradityadi dhyana paranam madhye. Among all of them, all types of meditators, either doing contemplation or are doing upasana, etc. Madgatena. Mai vasudeve samahitena. Madgatena. One who meditates upon me. Me means what? Me means Purna Ishvara. Well, this is definitely. So, Mai is equal to Vasudeve. Samahitena. Vasudeva. One who is a Vasudeva. Me, who is a Vasudeva. Vasudeva means Vasati Asmin iti Vasuhu. Vasati. Everything, in whom everything dwells. Like we dwell on the earth. And this well, or we dwell in the space. Right? Space. So here one in whom everything dwells. Space, time and entire creation dwells in the one who is called Vasu. And Devaha, who is effulgent, conscious being, or who is all-knowing. So Vasudeva, the Purna Ishvara. Well, on that, Mai, Samahitena, with a focus upon me, who is this Purna Vasudeva, Antaratmana, how? With the help of mind, Antaratmana, Antakarnena, with the help of a mind who focused upon me, the Purna Ishvara. And how? Shraddhavan. Bhashyakara says, Shraddhadhana san, being a full faith in me, more faith in me. Very, very essential to know this. Whenever some problem arises, we generally go to Devatas. Whenever some problem arises, rather than worshipping Ishvara, invoking Ishvara's grace, we go to a specific Devata. And we say also, that Devata will fulfill my desire, will remove my obstacle, etc. Other Devata will not do. We say that also. And so that shows that we are all the time worshipping the limited entity, Devatas. So there we have more faith. So Bhashyakara, Bhagavan says Shraddhavan. Bhashyakara says Shraddhadhana san, with more faith in me, the Purna Ishvara, who is able to, he is a karmaphala data. In fact, Bhagavan is going to reveal that you worship a Devata, Shani Devata, and Shani Devata, favors you. But Bhagavan says, well, behind Shani Devata, I am there. I am a karmaphala data. Karmani eva tav adhikaraha ma phaleshu. So far as phalam of the result is concerned, well, definitely you have to rely on me. You don't have a choice. You rely on me, I am a karmaphala data. And therefore, Devatas do not give result. They are jivas. Behind Devata, actually, the Ishvara alone is there. But Ishvara gives through Devata, so your Shraddha in the Devata continues. That's what it is. He's going to say in the later chapters. Anyway, so Bhagavan says Shraddhavan, Bhashyakara says Shraddhadhana san, bhajate, sevate. Well, and seva here means dhyanam karoti. One who, meditates. Mam, me the Ishvara. Saha, me yukta tamaha mataha. That person is the greatest one. That person is the... So, iti me mataha. Bhagavan says, this is my view. Me mataha. And abhipretaha. So, this is my view that he is the best among the yogis who is choosing as an object of meditation Ishvara, not Devatas. And in that, of course, you meditate upon Ishvara with attributes or without attributes as the very self. Either way you meditate, well, but one who chooses an object of meditation as Ishvara, they are better compared to one who meditates upon Devatas, worship Devatas. They are better. So, iti me yukta tamaha. Yukta tamaha, well, Bhashyakara says atishayena yuktaha. Well, they are the greatest one. And iti abhipretaha. Iti me abhipretaha. Me mataha, me abhipretaha. This is my view, Bhagavan says. So, this is my message to all the Gita students, basically. So, enough of Apurna Devata Dhyanam. You always invoke Ishvara for the grace. Either to know as identical to Ishvara, or, well, also you can invoke Ishvara in the form of, with the attributes in order to have a grace of him. So this is how he has introduced a next topic of the next 6th chapter, and that is Ishvara. He has introduced like that. So now, before going to the 7th chapter, I would like to talk about these 6 chapters which has gone. Why you should talk? We don't want to listen. I'm saying because Bhagavad Gita is looked upon, the 18 chapters is looked upon in terms of a subject matter in 3 portions. The first 6 chapter has a one subject matter. The next 6 chapter has another subject matter. And the last 6 chapter has a third subject matter. And therefore, what is the subject matter of the first 6 chapter that we would like to see? And so, the whole, it is a part of the Vedantic subject matter. The whole subject matter is what? First, let us see. Then the 6th chapter. First 6 chapter will be part of the subject matter. The whole 6th chapter of the Vedanta is covered by one simple statement, and that is Tattvamasi. We know. You are that. That is the subject matter, right? So, Tvam means this Jiva, the individual, and Tat denotes a Ishvara, and Tattvamasi. So, you are that. Tvam means you, Tat means that, and Asi means is, are. So, it's an equation. So, there is an equation between two things, Tvam and Tat, individual and Ishvara. There is an equation. An equation is, definitely does not reveal something which is going to happen later. An equation is which reveals what exists now. Because you are Ishvara. So, present tense, you are. So, it is revealing a certain fact which is available right now. So, it is not that you will be Ishvara, right? You will be Ishvara. No, you are. And therefore, equation always reveals something, that is a fact, that exists now, a fact which exists now. Anyway, and so once I say, out of this Tattvamasi, once I say Tvam Asi, suppose, I don't mention Tat, Tvam Asi. Tvam means you, Asi means are. You are. When I say you are, definitely in your mind, an expectancy is created. You are means you will say what? You are what? Then I will say Tat. You are that. Now, Tat is a pronoun. Any pronoun definitely, it refers to something which is already been explained, discussed. Naturally, you are that. Even in our parlance, common parlance also, we use pronoun which is referred to as something which both knows. You know that person, so that means you say like that. So, which is already discussed, which both the people know in a discussion. So here also you are that, means that refers that pronoun refers to something which is already explained in the Shastra. And what is that explanation? Tat means which is the cause of the creation, Ishvara. So you are that. You are that Ishvara which is the cause of the creation. That's what it means. So since Tatpada stands for Ishvara, in order to understand now this Tattvamasi equation, this Tvam, you, has to be understood properly because it is equated. You are the cause of the creation. So, how can I be the cause of creation? So, this Tvampada, the you, should be analyzed properly in order to understand that fact between me and the cause of creation called Ishvara. Right? And therefore, Tvampada analysis of the analysis of the individual has to be done properly. That is the subject matter of the first 6 chapters. The analysis of a word, Tvam, of the subject matter, Vedanta, Tattvamasi. Out of that, what is this Tvam? Why, what is this Tvam? Who are you? Well, I am so and so individual. No. Vedanta says you are the cause of the creation. Oh, then I have to understand what is this you, right? What is this you? And therefore, that purpose, the first 6 chapters, this is how Acharya looks upon this first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. We call it as a Prathama Shatkam. Prathama Shatkam means the first group of 6 chapters, Shatkam, in which this is the subject matter. And that is revealed through the equation, basically. And as I told you, the necessity for an equation is that one side of equation seems to be different from the other. Seems to be different. If what is equated, these two things are entirely different, the equation is not there. 8 is equal to 9. No one can write. No one can write. Then if there is identity which is so apparent, then also there is no equation. 9 is equal to 9. What are you saying, Swami? 9 is equal to 9. No. When both the sides of the equation are identical essentially, but appear differently, then you have to put it in equation. Right? So basically 5 plus 4 is equal to 10 minus 1. Now 5, 4, 10, 1, plus, minus, everything different, still equated. So even though appear differently, but essentially they are one, then you put in a equation. So here also, well, it is going to be like this. I will give you one more example. Like, suppose if ring is told that you are gold. Equation. Ring is told you are gold. Well, that is means what is that gold? Out of which all the ornaments, golden ornaments, are made. You are the cause of the golden world. Suppose, right? You are the cause of all the ornaments. If I tell to the ring, definitely ring has to understand this properly. And well, it has to get rid of this notion that I am just a ring. It has to get rid of this notion. If it has a notion that I am a ring, the ring would not understand I am the cause of all ornaments. Well, it has to acknowledge basically that, well, I am the gold, which is not just in the form of a ring, but it is also in the form of a chain, it is also in the form of a bracelet, etc., etc. Well, and therefore, the ring has to recognize this, etc. Then it will understand this equation. When I tell the ring, you are gold, ring has to come out of this notion that I am just ring. I am essentially the gold. In fact, I am the essence of the ring, not ring. I am the Atma of the ring called gold, which is the cause of all ornaments. And therefore, so whenever there is a possibility of an equation, it means there is a already existent fact. When I say to the ring, you are gold, it's an existent fact. That ring has to come out of the notion. And means what? Ring has to analyze its own nature. The ring, the individual, has to understand its own nature, that I am not the ring, I am actually gold. So it's very essential to understand the nature of an individual. So here also this equation, you are the cause of the whole world. To ring I said, you are the cause of the ornaments, world of ornaments. Here it is said, you are the cause of the entire world. Well, definitely, the jiva, has to understand how this equation is possible. Because it's an equation, it's an existent fact. So, to recognize this, what this tvam, you, implies must be understood. You, if I take it as an individual, the jiva, I will not understand. But if I analyze further, what's an implied meaning of this tvam, you? Not just direct meaning. Direct meaning means individual, you, individual. But no, let me analyze further. When I take this implied meaning, then I understand that really, as a self, I am the cause of the entire creation. So that tvam-pada analysis has to be done. Analysis of this word tvam has to be done. And well, the first 6 chapter deals with this tvam-pada analysis. So the subject matter of first 6 chapters is predominantly Atma, the Jiva, the nature of Jiva, etc. And Arjuna, of course, was confused. Well, and one who is subject to confusion is Jiva. It begins with this. Right? The first chapter begins with what? The confusion. Confusion of Ishvara or confusion of a Jiva? Confusion of a Jiva. So the Jiva is the one who is subject to confusion, subject to sorrow. And well, that is the meaning of the word Tvam, Jiva. So the first part of inquiry deals with this Tvam Pada. Now, first chapter, I will give you just few lines how it is so. So in the first chapter, well, it was shown that Arjuna was confused, having a sorrow. And Arjuna was not an ordinary Jiva. We should understand this very well. He was born as a prince with the grace of Indra, I think, with the grace of Indra. And Arjuna was a man of a, well, great character, valor, etc. He was invincible almost. In fact, Bhishma wanted Arjuna to fight. Drona also was anxious to see him fight. And Arjuna was so highly accomplished person. He was also highly accomplished in music and dance and all, right? And such a Arjuna, well, he found himself in a state of a depression. So we generally, the equation is more accomplished person in the world, with a worldly accomplished person, he is free from sorrow. No, sir. No, sir. This depression, sorrow can catch anyone. Whether you are highly accomplished or less accomplished, it catches. That's how in world we find people who are highly accomplished have a state of depression, sorrow. It's true. Therefore, this Bhagavad Gita addresses to a human being with a certain fundamental problem. It's not a tropical problem. The sorrow in the human heart is basically a fundamental problem. Because either you are accomplished, either unaccomplished, either you are in a state of accomplishing anywhere, any stage. Sorrow is there, like a shadow. So Bhagavad Gita presents, it addresses. In fact, Arjuna addresses a fundamental problem. That is what we are going to say. Anyway, so this was presented in the first chapter. What? The Jiva, no matter what he accomplishes, is subject to sorrow. Example, Arjuna, with a lot of accomplishment. First chapter. Second chapter. Second chapter, in which Arjuna, by grace of God, of course, has done Purushartha Nishchaya, ascertainment of what is to be pursued in order to get rid of sorrow. Right? In order to get rid of sorrow, let me gain victory. No. In fact, he found himself in a no-win situation. Really. Exactly the situation, where one can discover what one really wants. I will tell you this. Sorrow could not go, by even winning. He understood. That's what he said also. Even if he gains a victory, he is going to lose all these near and dear ones. Therefore, sorrow will not go. Okay, then I don't want victory. Kya baat hai? Being a Kshatriya, one can remain without sorrow by not winning. It's impossible. That is our own experience, that we don't win in a situation. We in fact gain sorrow. Right? And therefore, if one wins also, he could not get rid of sorrow. If he doesn't win, still he could not get rid of sorrow. So, no-win situation. In fact, then one realizes this sorrow is due to some third reason. Right? Sorrow is not due to victory. Sorrow is not due to non-victory. There is some other reason. So that's how this is a situation where one can discover what one really wants in one's life. So anyway, Arjuna addresses this human problem of a sorrow. He did not address this tropical problem. He saw a fundamental problem of the human heart that needs to be addressed. And in order to discover this fundamental problem, in order to fix this fundamental problem, he needed a help. and help of course, he needed support. And Krishna was the greatest support, possible for such a person. So whenever you address fundamental problem, you cannot do it alone. You needed a help, frankly. Because if you could fix the problem, you would have solved it on your own. But with the help of someone, you could fix the problem. Topical problem you may solve on your own. Fundamental problem definitely requires, someone's help. Who knows this problem? So, you do require help. The subject matter, of course, here being what it is, not just support of a Bhagavan, but Bhagavan has to teach to get rid of this sorrow also. So, Bhagavan was not just support. Bhagavan was also a teacher to fix the problem as well as to give the solution. That's what Bhagavad Gita is, which it addresses the fundamental problem of sorrow, tells you, see, this is your problem. This is the reason because of that only there is a sorrow in your life, or in any accomplished life or unaccomplished person's life. And not only that, this is the solution. So then the person who fixes the problem has to give a solution also as a teacher. So Bhagavan definitely, in the second chapter you will find, Bhagavan reveals very clearly that this is the cause of a sorrow, fundamental problem, and this is the solution. Beautifully. So Arjuna finds, in Krishna, a teacher also, who solves the problem. So discovery of a human problem basically is the subject matter of this Tvampada, naturally, the meaning of you, and seeking a solution, of course, is done by the person alone, with the help of a teacher, etc. So that's how Arjuna says, to Bhagavan, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapan. Krishna, Arjuna says, you are my teacher, and I am having this problem which I could not solve either by victory or non-victory. Why this sorrow in my life? Sorrow is experienced, and therefore he has not to ask about it. But why this sorrow? And Bhagavan says it is a fundamental problem and the solution, etc. So Bhagavan accepts Arjuna also as a disciple and teaches him immediately. I am talking about second chapter. And so, as though he was, I think, waiting for this opportunity. As he said, immediately he started from the 11th verse, Ashochananda Shochastvam, etc., etc. He says, you are grieving over something which does not deserve grief. Means the problem of a sorrow is not a legitimate problem, really speaking. Because of a certain confusion centered on the self, you are grieving. The reality is something else for you. You are such, if you look into that, if you are able to see what you are in reality, the sorrow will disappear like a water vapor from your life. That's what Bhagavan said. So anyway, and so then Bhagavan started giving the knowledge of the self. So you are not subject to death and not subject to birth. Atma is like this. So many. From verse number 12 to verse number 25 in second chapter. Clearly Bhagavan revealed, all about Atma. He talked about Atma in entirety. And so it is nothing but an analysis of a Tvampada only, right? Not Ishvara here. So this is the whole style of teaching, basically. And exposition of Tatpada comes and goes. As Bhagavan said, Karmani evatav adhikaraham ma phaleshu, etc., etc. I decide. So Tatpada comes and goes. But basically the focus in the second chapter also is Tvampada. First chapter, Tvampada, the person who is subject to sorrow, etc. So this is, and also Bhagavan said in the second chapter that he should fight, and how karma is not opposed to knowledge if it is backed by a certain attitude. If it is in a form of an attitude of a yoga, etc., it will help you for gaining jnana. So karma is not opposed to knowledge if you do it with a certain attitude. If you don't do it with that attitude, karma and jnana are opposite. That's also Bhagavan has said in the second chapter. So this is second chapter. What is third essence? We'll see after this one. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. 20 minutes, right? 11:20 or 11:25. Yeah, okay.